everyone. Welcome back to Dreamy Realms Art. Today we are going to draw this beautiful and peaceful girl portrait using just a pencil. Now, when you look at the finished drawing, the hair might look a little difficult, especially that beautiful bun. But don't worry, we're going to draw it step by step, and I'll show you a very simple way to create hair using curved pencil strokes. So if you're a beginner, don't skip this one. Take your pencil, take a clean sheet of paper, and let's start drawing together. And remember one thing before we start. Don't try to make your drawing perfect in the first attempt. Just enjoy the process, because sometimes the most beautiful drawings begin with a few very simple lines. I'm not pressing the pencil too hard. These first lines are basically our guidelines, so they should be light enough to erase or correct later. I'm slowly building the shape of the forehead, nose, lips, and chin. Now, one small tip for beginners. Don't draw the face by looking at individual features separately. First, look at the overall shape. Where does the forehead start? How far does the nose come forward? Where is the chin? And how much space is there between the face and the hair? These little observations make a huge difference. Now I'm moving towards the nose. I'm using very simple curved lines here. And notice that I'm not making the entire nose dark. For pencil portraits, we don't always need a strong outline. Sometimes a small shadow is enough to suggest the shape. So don't worry if your nose doesn't look like a cartoon nose with a complete outline. Keep it soft. Now I'm slowly defining the lips. Again, very light strokes first. The lower lip can have a little more shadow because that will give it some volume. And now we have the basic face. See? It already looks like a face with only a few lines. That's the beauty of pencil drawing. Eye and eyebrow. As her eyes closed, we don't need to draw a complicated eye. A simple curved line can create the expression. I'm carefully adding the eyelashes here. And this is one place where we need to control our pencil pressure. The eyelashes should be darker and sharper than the lighter facial guidelines. Now I'm adding the eyebrow. The eyebrow doesn't need to be perfectly straight. Actually, natural eyebrows have tiny variations, so a few uneven pencil strokes can make them look more realistic. And look at the expression. She's starting to look peaceful and relaxed. That's exactly what we want. Now I'm going back to the face and adding a little bit of shading around the eye and nose. Very gently. Don't rush. If you're drawing along with me, pause the video whenever you need. There's absolutely no competition here. Next, I'm working on the ear. The ear may look complicated, but don't try to understand every little curve. Just observe the major shapes. I'm adding a few darker lines inside the ear and leaving the outer areas lighter. The hair is falling over the neck, so naturally we will have some darker areas here. This is where shading becomes very useful. Instead of drawing a heavy outline everywhere, we can use shadows to separate one part from another. The hair. At first glance, this may look like a lot of hair strands. But here's the trick. We are not going to draw every single hair individually. First, we divide the hair into larger sections. Think of each section like a group of ribbons. I'm following the direction in which the hair is naturally flowing. This is very important. If your hair strokes go in random directions, the hair can start looking messy. So always ask yourself, which direction is the hair flowing? And then follow that direction with your pencil. Now I'm slowly defining the large front section of the hair. I'm using curved lines because the hair is wrapping around the head. Don't make every line equally dark. Some lines can be very light, some can be darker. That difference will later help us create depth. And don't worry if it looks a little strange at this stage. The drawing is still under construction. Just like building a house, we first need the structure before we start decorating. Now let's work on the bun. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the drawing. The bun is basically a rounded shape made up of many overlapping sections of hair, so I'm following the round form. Notice how my pencil strokes curve around the bun. This gives the bun a three-dimensional appearance. Here's another little tip. Don't draw the bun as one solid dark circle. If you do that, it will look flat. Instead, keep some lighter areas and create darker areas where the hair overlaps. Now I'm adding more curved strands. Some strokes are longer, some are shorter, and that's perfectly fine. Real hair doesn't behave like perfectly straight lines. It has movement, it has curves, it has volume. So let your pencil strokes have some movement too. And slowly, our little bun is starting to look like actual hair. Now we are getting to the most satisfying part, shading. This is where the drawing really starts. Using darker pencil strokes in the areas where the hair overlaps. The deepest shadows are usually found where one section of hair is sitting over another section. I'm building the darkness gradually. This is very important. Don't press your pencil extremely hard from the beginning. Start light, then slowly build up the darker values. Think of it like adding layers. One layer, then another, and another. Now I'm following the natural direction of the hair with every stroke. You can already see the difference. The hair is no longer looking like a simple outline. It's beginning to have volume. Now I'm adding some darker strokes near the bun. And notice how leaving a few lighter spaces between the dark strokes creates the impression of highlights. You don't actually have to draw a bright white highlight. Sometimes simply leaving the paper lighter is enough. This is one of my favorite things about graphite drawing. The white paper itself becomes part of the artwork. Creating depth in the hair. Now, let's increase the contrast a little more. I'm going back to the darkest sections, especially near the roots of the hair, around the bun, and underneath the overlapping sections. These areas should be slightly darker because less light reaches them. At the same time, I'm keeping some areas soft and light. Remember this simple rule. Dark areas create depth and light areas create highlights. If you make everything equally dark, the hair will look flat. So don't be afraid to leave some paper untouched. Now I'm adding a few finer strands over the darker sections. These are our finishing hair strokes, but I'm not going crazy with them. We don't need 1,000 lines. Just a few well-placed strands can make a huge difference. And honestly, this is where patience really pays off. A few extra minutes of careful shading can completely change the look of a pencil drawing. Face hair connection. Now I'm going back to the face. I'm checking whether the face and hair look balanced together. The hair should frame the face naturally, so I'm adding a little more darkness where the hair comes close to the forehead and ear. I'm also refining the eyelashes and facial features, and I'm keeping the face much lighter than the hair. Why? Because that contrast makes the face stand out. The hair is our darkest major element, and the face becomes the lighter focal point. So when someone looks at the finished drawing, their eyes naturally go towards the face first. Now we're almost done. I'm just adding a few final touches, a little more shading here, a few hair strands there, and some small adjustments to the facial features. This is also the time to clean up any unnecessary marks. And here's another important drawing tip. Before you finish, stop for a few seconds and look at your drawing from a little distance. Sometimes when we're drawing for a long time, we get too focused on one tiny area. But when we step back, we can see the whole picture. So take a breath, look at your drawing, and decide what actually needs more work. Don't keep adding details just because you can. Sometimes knowing when to stop is also part of being an artist. And we're done. Our peaceful girl pencil portrait is finally complete. Look at the difference between the simple outline we started with and the final shaded drawing. We created the entire look mainly using line direction, pencil pressure, light, and shadow. So if you're a beginner, please don't feel that realistic drawing is impossible. Start with simple shapes, practice your lines, learn to observe light and shadow, and slowly, your drawings will improve. And remember, your first drawing doesn't have to be perfect. Your job is simply to make the next drawing a little better than the previous one. If you enjoyed drawing this portrait with me, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Dreamy Realms Art for more easy and beautiful drawing tutorials. And I would really love to know, what should we draw in the next video? A beautiful girl portrait? A cute child? An animal? Or maybe a traditional Indian art drawing? Tell me your idea in the comments. Thank you so much for spending your time drawing with me. Keep your pencil moving, keep practicing, and most importantly, enjoy your art. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.